Today I'm with Olympic silver medal winner Richard Torrez Jr. of Team USA and his father and coach, Richard Torrez Sr. Thank you so much, gents, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate you, Andrew. Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Richard, now obviously since coming home, how busy have you been? I'm sure it's been crazy.
Yeah, no, it really has been crazy. I remember when I was in the Olympics and I just solidified a medal, I was talking to Tiger, and Tiger asked me, he goes, "How does it feel to be an Olympic medalist?" I was like, you know how it feels to turn 18 and nothing changes? Like everyone thinks it's gonna be something huge, but nothing happened. It's kind of how it felt when I was in the Olympics, because there was no cameras there. It was just us and the guys that had trained to get there. So everyone was in the same spot. But when I got home, the amount of support and appreciation I got from the entire town, community, and state and nation in general, it's been insane, you know, and it has been super hectic and super busy. But I'm loving every moment of it.
I saw the big motorcade that you have. That looks really good.
You know, it was awesome. Yeah, it was a huge motorcade, and then after that, I was like the grand marshal of the county parade. I went to a Fresno State football game the other day, and they announced me at halftime. It's been incredible.
And when you was in Tokyo, Richard, did you see all that support you was getting, especially from Tulare?
I recognized it a little bit, but it didn't really seem real to me when I was doing it. You know, it was kind of like back home was back home, but I was just focusing on the task at hand, you know, and I was fighting. And my dad didn't really tell me too much about it. Like I remember I had fought against Kazakhstan, and then after I fought against Kazakhstan, I saw all these people posting about how they showed my my fight at the movie theater in my town. And I was like, "Hey, Pop, do you know about that?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, I knew about that. I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to make you nervous or something." But no, I mean, I recognized it, but it didn't really hit until I got back home and I actually saw people in person and what everyone actually really did for me.
Now, Coach, you've obviously noticed the attention in Richard must have gone on to a completely different level. Is it part of your job to keep some of that away from him so he's not getting too busy and he's not being hounded by people like me?
Yeah, it is. It is part of the job of a manager slash coach slash dad. You know, I know his personality. I know what kind of gets him off track. You know, it's kind of a family thing. My wife, my daughter, we're all kind of the same thing. We kind of guard them as much as we can. But, you know, we got to give him out, let him get out there and shake hands, take pictures and stuff. But other times we try to protect him, his time, to make it very valuable and know that, you know, hey, one of the worst drugs out there is ink. You know, the more you hear yourself in the paper and stuff, you got to, you know, it's kind of hard to stay focused. But we're trying to keep him going. He's doing a good job with it. You know, he's taking all this in stride and he's doing very well. But yeah, part of my job is to kind of protect him and keep him focused for the goal ahead. And
is living in a small town like Tulare the perfect spot, the perfect base for you? I know I work where Tyson Fury lives in Morecambe, and people there, you just see Tyson Fury just walking about because they all know him and they just leave him alone. They'll have a photograph with him, but other than that, they let him live a pretty normal life. Is it the same for you in Tulare?
I think because of the newly found recognition from the Olympics, people do want to come and take pictures. And so it's been like that for a little bit, but it's starting to settle down and it's going back to, oh, that's Richard, you know, like, I think I'm going around town enough to where like everyone already got their pictures. And so it's like, now it's like, okay, no, we already got the picture. Now it's just Richard being Richard, you know?
Now, I don't want to bombard you with questions about the Olympics because we could speak all night. But what was that Olympic experience like? Did it live up to your dreams?
So I was really nervous going into the Olympics that I wouldn't because of COVID. You know, we didn't get to do a lot of things that everyone anticipated we were going to do. And I was nervous. And then I heard a saying that comparison is a killer of joy. And I remember talking to my dad. I was like, "Pops, what if this Olympics isn't like all the other Olympics? What if this is going to be a different one? What if this is the worst Olympics ever?" And my dad goes, "How many other Olympics have you been to?" "I haven't been to any." He goes, "Exactly." He goes, "You're going to have the best time of your life in this Olympics." He goes, "So enjoy the time you have now and go out there and have the best time." And that's what I did. You know, I went out there. It's true. I mean, COVID did change up a lot of things. There were no fans. We couldn't go out and experience the town. But I was in the Olympic Village surrounded by 10,000 other athletes, and we all had the same goal and drive. And, you know, I'd really think that if we did have all of the luxuries of going out and everything, I'd probably stay in the same spot and do exactly what I was doing, you know, because I had the food, I was getting prepared for my fights, and I was having a good time with my teammates. And so I had an amazing time at the Olympics, and it really was everything I lived up and imagined it would be.
I enjoyed your YouTube diaries, which you did, and they're a great memory, aren't they, for the future? And they're still on YouTube if people want to see them on your channel. How was it for you, Coach, as a family, watching him and being so far away?
You know, it's kind of like having that piece of cake right in front of you where you can't really touch it. You can see it, and it's like, yeah, you want to be there. I want to be there so bad. You know, just not only a dream of mine, dream of family, just kind of to experience that, to live vicariously through him at that moment. So, but it was terribly difficult, you know, to sit back and just watch things unfold, not be an integral part of it. But he was good. He called me, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a day, just kind of touching base, and it was good for me to see his mental attitude, where he is physically, mentally, all those things. So that was good, you know, with good communication. But it was extremely difficult. You know, I had planned to be there, you know, his whole life. That's where I wanted to be. But we made it work, and we did the best we can. It was awesome working with Coach Billy and the USA team. They worked with me superbly as far as, you know, just kind of giving me their insight. We talked to the game plan, strategies. It was terrific. So I couldn't ask for anything more. Just to be there would have been the best. Yeah,
Billy Walsh did get a lot of credit, didn't he, with this Team USA? Now, I'm just going to pick your brains about, you're in the Olympic dressing room, going out for your first bout in the Olympics. Did that feel different, Richard, to any other tournament, or was you just focused?
The biggest difference I'll really say happened was everyone fought before I fought. Everyone fought before I fought, at least for the guys, and everyone won before I fought. And usually I'm the first guy to go on. For some reason, the heavyweights are usually one of the first people to go off. Like people want to start with a bang, people want to end with a bang, you know. And when I was there, I was waiting and waiting and waiting. I remember calling my dad. I'm like, Pops, everyone won. I'm getting so nervous, you know. It's like, what do I do, you know? And then my dad would reassure me, saying, you know, we're gonna win too. This is the game plan. This is what we got. I remember getting into the dressing room, and I called my dad, and I already talked to my dad. And usually I start playing music. That's usually what people do. And then for the first time, I felt calm. I looked around, and I saw people warming up, and they had the Olympic gloves on. I was warming up. I had my USA uniform on. I'm like, I don't want to ruin this moment with music right now. I want to sit here and I want to embrace the fact I'm in the Olympic locker room for the first time, and I'm really living my dream of being in the Olympics. And so I didn't use any warm-up music. I didn't do any of that. I just sat there and I tried to be in the moment. And that was a really big difference of what I did in the first fight than what I did in my entire rest of the career. Usually I listen to music, I try to get pumped up. But at that point in time, I was like, no, I want to embrace being here.
And that's brilliant, that, because a lot of young people don't, do they? They don't soak up that experience, which is a once in a lifetime, isn't it? Which is your favourite bout for both of you now of Richard's performances? Which one and why?
I think performance-wise, it might have been against Kazakhstan, but my favorite fight, honestly, was against Cuba, just because it really showed off my engine, you know, and we went toe-to-toe. You know, in the entire fight, it was just back and forth, and that's the type of fight I kind of like. You know, it was a battle, and I got the win back from the Pan American Games, and so I was excited at that tournament. I was excited for that bout, and you know, I'm a firm believer that I want to go in and leave with nothing in the ring, and I was dead tired after that fight, and I knew I had left everything in that ring too. So that was probably my favorite bout.
For you, Dad, you're looking at it not just as a dad, you're looking at it as a coach as well, aren't you? Which one for you?
You know what? I'm on the same boat as him. You know, that I was nervous for the Cuban fight. You know, just kind of he's kind of royalty. The kid's a royal name in Latin American countries, and I was afraid for the same repeat of the Pan American Games. But you know, seeing my boy put that motor to work and just will his way to win. You know, because I mean, they're both excellent fighters. The kid's a world-class fighter from Cuba. You know, boys have willed his way to win and stuff, and that just kind of impressed me beyond belief. You know, as far as technique-wise and things like that, Kazakhstan. I mean, the guy's second in the world, professional champion and stuff, and we just dominated. He's dominated that fight, and the kid didn't know where we were coming from, and he just showed both sides of his ability, his engine and his natural ability, his boxing ability in both fights.
Now, you came to the final, and I've told your dad this already. I'm a police officer, and we was in the briefing room, and you were on in the back. And they all obviously know you because I talk about it. So we were all watching you and supporting you during that fight. Now, you spoke quite openly how nervous you was going into that. How did you control those nerves?
I was honestly talking to my dad. I was talking to my dad and trying to get a relative answer that we like. Trying to fill the shoes, and we could try to see if we could relate in that sense. It was just really hard though, because usually beforehand, everything that I've been through, like word for word, my dad has been through. Everything, my dad's been in the exact same position in fights. Or if my dad hasn't been there, then Coach Billy's been there. And I remember I was sitting at breakfast, and I was with Coach Billy, and I was just thinking, I was just sitting there, and usually I'm pretty talkative, but this time I was just kind of like, I was running over game plan in my mind. And Billy tried to come and talk to me, like kind of cheer me up a little bit. I wasn't like sad or anything, but I was in my head. And Coach Billy was like, oh, well, we just got to do this, and this. I was like, Coach, how, like what do you do in this situation? Like, how are you supposed to feel? And he went, I don't know, I've never been there. I was like, oh man, it's like, I was in a position where it's like, not many people have been ever, and it was nerve wracking. But again, as soon as I got in the locker room, I was calm. There was a sense of like, all right, no matter what happens, I'm supposed to be here, and I'm gonna give it my best shot. And that's what I did. I went out there and I gave it my all. And it wasn't the decision I wanted, but I was proud of what I was able to do. And moving forward, hindsight's 20/20. I go back and I'm like, oh man, I could have done this, I could have done this, could have done this. But in the moment, I gave it my shot, I gave it my all, and I'm proud of that.
Well, in that first round, I got so excited, and if I was like that, I can't imagine what your dad was like and your family watching it, because you shook him to his boots, didn't you, in that first round with that backhand?
Yeah. And it changed his style. It changed his style completely. He reverted back to what he does very well, which is holding, pushing, moving, those things that then let my boy get off his punches and had to fight to get inside. And every time he got in, the guy would hold him down, push him, hug him up and stuff. So yeah, I was afraid of that, and exactly what happened.
Well, at the end, I mean, Jarolov obviously fought well, and he's a beast, isn't he? But at the end, I may have been mistaken, but it looked like relief when that final bell went on Jarolov. So he knew he was in a fight, didn't he? You certainly have given him a lot to think about, because I think your paths may cross again in the future.
Well, I definitely hope so. I think I get better every day. And I do look forward to being able to fight him one more time, maybe even more rounds, so that way I can get some more shots off. But yeah, I have nothing against the guy. He was like you said, he's a great fighter, a world champ and now Olympic champ too. It's how it goes sometimes, how it happens. And if I'm being 100% honest, if I would have won gold, I would have questioned continuing to box. Because I feel like I would have had everything. I would have accomplished all my goals. I would have accomplished all my dreams. And I would be afraid that there would still be that drive to continue to box, But getting that silver, it left me hungry, it left me wanting more. That drive and that passion is still there. And so that's why I am so okay with turning pro. That's why I am so okay with continuing to box, because my drive to win, my competitive level, and my mindset is still there. And I don't know if it would have been if I won gold. So I'm not saying I'm thankful or anything like that, but I'm saying I'm gonna use this silver to my advantage, and I'm gonna continue to fight my hardest.
Yeah, and you did finish the sport as the top amateur, because Jarolov is a professional boxer, so you are the top amateur in the world. Which other boxers caught your eye? For both of you, that question. I know Andy Cruz caught mine.
Oh yeah. He's an amazing fighter. The Ukrainian that got dropped in the finals. That was some punch. Was some punch. The Brazilian, so his punch and he was losing every round and he caught him. That was amazing. But the motor of the Ukrainian, it's unbeatable. You know what I mean? And then there was also a Russian. I think the Russian, he did pretty good. Frazier Clark, he did really well too. I like his performances. He was doing his thing. He even gave a Uzbek an 8 count. You know what I mean? So like he was doing really well. There were a lot of, and then on the girls' side, I mean, it was
strong, wasn't it? The competition was strong. The whole Olympics, I thought, was a very good tournament this time.
Oh, I think so too. And I want to give a shout out to the judging. I do think the judging was well. I thought like ultimately it was really good. You know, there were a couple calls that could have gone either way, but overall, I thought like there wasn't any like outrageous losses. You know,
no, there was no Roy Jones decisions further in this Olympics.
Yeah. But, and I think that's a testament to the judges. So I'm really thankful that they did that this year.
How important was your team, the Team USA, in your success?
I think it was incredibly important because we drive each other. You know what I mean? Like Duke, Tiger, Keyshawn, Troy. We've been on the teams with each other since we were kids. You know, I went to Youth World Championships with Tiger. You know, Keyshawn, we've been on the same nationals and we've been on the team since 2018. And same with Duke and Troy. You know, it really was like a brotherhood. You know, like we went in there as a team, went in there as a family, and they're the ones that really we pushed each other. And it was, in my mind at least, when I saw barriers being broken in the Olympics, like I saw like Keyshawn go to the semis, or I saw Duke going to the finals. I'm like, we can do this too. You know, it was like it's not just, it wasn't just a whim. You know, we're here for a reason, and our team is one of the strongest teams in the world. And I think that we showed that USA boxing is coming back in a way. You know, we didn't get that gold, but I think it's coming soon.
Yeah. Who caught your eye, Richard, in the Olympics?
You know what? I didn't. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't watch a whole bunch of Olympics. I watched my boy. You know, I stayed up late when I woke up right before the fight. I watched the heavyweights to see who was competing. You know, I just, you know, testament to all the heavyweights are great fighters. You know, they're good guys, and I got respect for them. But I didn't get a chance to watch too many other fights.
Yeah, Team GB did very well, and like you said, Fraser Clark. I've not spoken to him, but he comes across as a really nice bloke and a good captain, a very good team captain. But I can't talk to you about that Team USA without mentioning the 4 others who I interviewed, who were on the qualification team: Anthony Herrera, Bruce Carrington, Charlie Sheehy, and Andrea Medina, who weren't just good fighters. They were definitely contenders, but because of the qualification tournament getting cancelled, they lost their dreams of boxing the Olympics. How tough was it as a team to deal with that?
It was heartbreaking. You know, we didn't just train a year together. Usually when like a new people on the team come in, it's just a year, and then someone else will come in, and there's a new team all the time. But these guys, we were all together for 2 years, you know, and through COVID, and we've been through a lot of struggles and tribulations together. And for them to go out like that, not even be able to fight for their spot, it was heartbreaking. You know, I remember we were in this room in San Diego when the coaches came in, and so did like the head guys from USA Boxing, and then like, you guys aren't going. Like there's just no way. Like it's like it's going through it's gonna be through like point systems, and you guys just haven't racked up any points. And it's just not fair. It just wasn't fair, you know. There was nothing we could do about it, and that was the worst part. You could, like, we're boxers, so if we fight and we lose, that's one thing. But if we're not even able to fight for a spot, I couldn't imagine what's going on in their minds. You know, I really can't. And I try to put myself in their shoes, and I mean, I'm really proud of what they've been able to do since then. You know, they're turning pro. They just went back to the grind. You know, they just went back to their work. And none of them were like, you know, to heck with this, we're just gonna do something else. Like all of them are like, all right.
I know Bruce Carrington, he's on Tyson Fury's undercard, isn't he?
Exactly.
For his pro debut, so he's not doing so bad. And I'm really looking forward to Anthony Herrera and Charlie Sheehy. And I felt sorry for Andrea Medina because she had just won tournaments in France and Spain and was really flying. But a lovely girl.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and Andrea, I mean, Andrea could fight. Like Andrea, all those guys, Charlie, Anthony, Bruce, Andrea. I mean, all those guys are top tier fighters. And so I thought they were all gonna be on the Olympics with us. And it was a tough situation, but it's also a testament to their will and for them to continue. Just they said, okay, this wasn't meant to be, and they went pro, or they took their boxing efforts in a different area. And it wasn't like they didn't sulk. And so I probably would have sulked myself. I would have stopped. I would have got mad after. I would have been probably like 280 pounds right now, you know. And so for the fact that they just went back to the grind is really amazing to me.
But me just interviewing you all, I could see how close you were as a team. So they are part of your success, and they should think of it that way. Well, next stage now, presuming now that is the professional game. Are we working on Richard's style at all? Are you doing anything to mix it up?
Who's that for, me or him?
Yeah, Richard Sr.
You know what? You know, it's like compared to a sprint to a marathon. You know, you change the speed up a little bit, you change the top a little bit. Not too much initially because you got 4 to 6 rounds to begin with, and with this motor you'll be able to run through that pretty quick. But you change the little aspects of the style to sit down and punch a little more. You know, move the head a little more, just things like that, a little more angles. We're just kind of refining some of the things he always does well.
And I presume you started looking at the professionals now as future opponents, not just enjoying, like Joshua Usyk was on last night. Did you get a chance to see that one?
Yeah, we're watching it right now.
Yeah, we were watching it right now.
Yeah. But I mean, it's by seeing Usyk style and stuff, you see my boy style. You know, he's got that head movement, he's got the foot movement, he's got those good fast punches, combination inside and down. You know, that just lets us know, you know, there's a bright future. His size, you know, we always get that criticism about the size. You know, there's not enough size, not size. Like Usyk, you know, Usyk is not a super big guy. You pick the right fights, get to the right position when you need to be, and wins will come. But yeah, we look at the professionals, and as we always have been, that's a potential future opponent.
And who do you like watching, Richard? I know you like Wilder and Fury, don't you? But who else in the heavyweight division do you enjoy watching?
I mean, I like the New York guy from the Polish New York guy. Do you remember his name?
Kowalski?
Yeah. I liked his style a lot, actually. Like and his
will to win, boy.
Yeah, and the amount of punches he would throw, it was a crazy to witness. You know, I like him. I like Andy Ruiz too. I like Andy Ruiz's speed and his head movement. He kind of has that Mexican style in the pro game that, you know, not a lot of fighters have anymore. I like Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson, he was one of my old teammates, and he went pro while I tried to stay and go to the Olympics. And so I like his style. I've seen what he can do in the amateurs, and he was transitioned it into the pros, and he's doing a really good job too. So there's a lot of heavyweights right now that I'm keeping my eye out on, and I'm proud of what they're doing.
What about Dillian White and Daniel Dubois? They're next generation, if you like, behind Joshua and Fury.
I mean, I think that they're good fighters, and I'm looking at them more as opponents than to admire their styles. And so I think it's more of like, all right, I'm gonna do this when I see him or something like that. It's not me. Like I do admire like the power. I admire some of their defensive works, but at the end of the day, that's more along the lines of like, I'm coming for you, you know.
And when he does turn pro, Richard Sr., will there be will you like him to do it steadily? Because there'll be a chance, because of his amateur experience, to go quickly. And the heavyweight division, there's not a great depth in it, so his ranking could go up very quickly. Is it your job to just try and keep those brakes on and learn slowly?
You know what? We're going to take it fight by fight, you know, camp by camp. You know, if he's progressing tremendously fast and everything, and you know, I don't want to put. You know, I've seen some fighters in the past in my era that have gone very quickly in the pro ranks, very high the ranks, and there's some drawbacks to that. You know, there's some damage that's inevitable to happen when you go that quick, that fast. So we're just gonna take it fight by fight, situation by situation. I'm gonna see how he's progressing, see how his fights go, hell, if he gets too many wars too early, like, hey, we got to change our plan a little bit, because this is not, because ultimately my job is to make sure, one day he's sitting on the beach somewhere with a drink in his hand saying, Pops did me right, and I got my brain cells in front of me, and in my brain, I can do other things also. So we're just going to take it step by step.
And I see Tyson Fury's bought a home in Las Vegas now. So, and he texted you, didn't he? I saw one of the clips you put on where he texted you. Would you consider sparring him? Just like, I know he does spar with quite a lot of the younger up and coming heavyweights.
Oh, 100%. I'd love to. I'd love to spar with him. If he ever hits me up, I'm definitely going there. And yeah, I thought it was really amazing too, because he hit me up before I even qualified. A lot of people hit me up after I medaled. And a lot of pro guys are like, oh, the De La Hoyas, the Evander Holyfields, those guys all hit me up after I medaled, and after I was I was in the limelight. But Fury hit me up before all that. He hit me up before I even qualified for the Olympics, saying that he liked my style, and so that was a really good moment in my books. I was really honored for that to happen. And Fury's he's the guy right now too. So to be hit up by like one of the best ever, I was like, wow, that's awesome.
And going into this pro game now, and the amateurs coming to an end, Richard Sr., have you had a chance to soak it in of the family journey from your uncle sparring with your dad, and your dad opening the gym, in the Torrez garage, and then you starting, and keeping boxing because you enjoyed going to McDonald's, and but then becoming a very successful amateur and boxing for Team USA yourself, leading to your son boxing for Team USA and making the Olympic final. Have you had a chance to soak all that in? And do you look back?
Yeah, I do. And my family kind of gets upset with me because I don't get too excited for Christmas. I don't get too excited for my birthday. I don't get too excited for any holidays that come along, but I get excited when my boys fighting and that whole idea about boxing. In looking back, I get the satisfaction. It's a satisfaction to know that, because going through boxing and it's watching my dad do the boxing club and me doing the boxing club, there's trials and tribulations in that. There's a lot of heartache, a lot of financial burden, a lot of time allotment. And those are all things that once you're in it, you're like, man, this is worth it. Is this something, am I doing anything right here? Am I making a difference somewhere, somehow? You see the kids on the street, they come up to you and say, hey, thanks, coach, you helped me out. Hey, thanks, coach. And that's kind of out in the distance. You get to see it. And so, but when it's this close to your home and you see the success that hard work does and hard work provides, you're like, this is a lot of satisfaction. So I got maybe a little smug satisfaction smile on my face when I walk through town. Not this boisterous, pompous attitude, just a smug smile on my face saying it was hard work and we did it.
That's fantastic. Richard, when you look back on your amateur career now, you've had a long amateur career, very, very successful. So somebody who's in that process now, like your Amari Jones, your Orville Crooks, who are the next generation of Team USA, what has that journey meant to you?
It means a lot. And I think the biggest thing that I'm going to say to those guys that are still in the amateur game, and sometimes they decide they're thinking of going pro or saying amateur. No pro I know of got the key of the city, a day named after him, a parade, a type of recognition that I've gotten, being able to go out on halftime at the game. People recognize the Olympics still. I mean, even though it's not really it doesn't have that bright of a light shined on it in the amateur boxing in the USA. Everyone in the USA wants to go pro. I'm telling you, the people that don't know boxing, or the people that don't watch all the time, they know the Olympics. And it's a crazy experience when you come back home, and you guys, people that know me know how hard I work, and I'm that's what I'm proud of. I never say I'm like the fastest guy. I'm never say I'm the strongest guy, but I always say I will go toe to toe to you in working hard. And so it's going to be a grind. It really is. And everyone knows that, but stay consistent. There's going to be plateaus, there's going to be dips, and there's going to be times where you're feeling the best in your life, and just stay consistent, because, that time's going to come.
And last question, most important one, the passion of your life, Your dog Dempsey, how impressed was he that his dad won the silver medal?
He's rounding my feet right now, actually. Come on. Yeah, he was pretty happy.
Oh, he's gorgeous. I've got one of those as well in the other room. He's gorgeous. But you know, you can see that you love that dog, don't you, in your clips?
And we just picked up another dog though.
Oh, yeah.
What have you got now? Another one?
Same one, his brother from the same mother and stuff. So we got a second one. My boy bought it for the family because he's gonna take his dog. He's gonna take his dog. So we got and this one's name is Tex,
right,
after Randall Tex Cobb.
Oh yeah.
So it's got the same facial features, I think.
Well, thank you so much for giving me some of your time today, and I do appreciate it. And I wish you nothing but the best. I know you're going to be successful in boxing, but I hope you're successful in life as well, Richard. And you know, you can see you come from a very good family, and I wish you all the best and good luck.
No, thank you. And I really appreciate what you do too. You know, coming out here and like you were one of them too, that you would hit me up before kind of this little rush came, you know. And so I appreciate it. If you ever want to interview again later down the road, you know where to find us.
Yep, you got it.
That's great. That's great. Thanks very much.